Good afternoon. I'll just give it a moment for people to tune in, give it a minute or two. So, just quickly tonight, our conversation is going to be about conflict management and conflict resolution. In regards to an incident that was filmed from a hotel quarantine, although you didn't see what happened but heard what happened. So quite interesting, and brought up some good points that I thought would be very well worth discussing. So firstly, I'd like to thank everyone who's tuning in for the night, and thank you for joining us. And anyone watching this on the replay, I would like to thank anyone tuning in on the replay and watching. So we'll give it about a minute more just to let some people tune in. So actually on time tonight, which is a good start. Alright, let's get into this. I think it'll be time to start. Alright, so as I said just before, we're looking at conflict management and resolution tonight. This has come from a video that was shared, I think it was some celebrity in hotel quarantine, or some reality celebrity or something. So you actually didn't see the incident. You could just see him and you could hear what was happening. And what it sounds like was happening was the guy's yelling, he's angry, he's frustrated. It sounds like he's wrecking his room or punching walls or doing something. Hard to tell, but there is the noise that indicates that. And what is reportedly a police officer who's sitting there talking to him and then says to him, calm down or I'll fucking gas you. So, which is roughly, or for what I saw of the video, appears to have been what happened. So I'm going to discuss around that and then just go from there and look at issues. And we'll tie it back into that a little bit, and then we'll just broaden out a bit as well for conflict management and resolution. Because the reality is, when you're dealing with situations where people are highly emotional, you want to avoid, preferably you want to avoid any physical intervention. Physical intervention, you could see that as a failure in many ways. Because you don't want to be having to touch people. You don't want to have to be fighting people. You don't want to... The idea is you're trying to resolve the situation without having to get physical. So the first thing I want to start by saying in that is saying calm down. Never in the history of ever has telling someone to calm down ever actually calmed someone down. Quite the opposite. It could be seen as being quite condescending, very belittling, and it could be seen as just telling someone what to do. So when someone's highly emotional, they're frustrated, angry, and then you're belittling them, or they feel that way, and they feel like you're telling them what to do. Obviously, that's not going to go down well. It's not something that is going to work out at all. And the other thing is swearing. And swearing, look, depending on the audience you talk to, you can add swearing in. I would sort of lean towards saying don't swear, try not to swear. But in the context of this video, calm down or I'll fucking gas you. Okay, so it's really putting an emphasis on the threat that's being said. It's really driving that threat there, and again, it's going to be seen as quite provocative, quite antagonistic with the swearing, which is not very helpful. Okay, that's the kind of thing that's going to start escalating the situation, and it's the kind of thing where it's going to start driving the other person emotionally. I mean, they're already going to be tunnel visioning, stuck on what they're stuck on, and that doesn't help. It's not resolving the situation, which leads into also threats. Okay, so as with swearing, it's just going to escalate the situation, and it can be seen like when you make any threat. What are you looking at? What are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? Go on, touch me. I'm going to fucking gas you. Or we'll fucking gas you. You're looking now, you're escalating the situation, And laying down a threat could be seen as a challenge in many ways. So if you sit there and say to someone, well, I'll fucking gas you, they go, well, all right, gas me then. You know, so you're playing a game with this person like a dance. And the idea is you don't want to play this dance. You want to break this chain. You want to break this link, not add to it. And again, this is the kind of stuff that's going to move it towards physical intervention, which, as I said earlier, if you get having to physically intervene, you can view that as a failure in many, many ways. Physical intervention is the last thing you want to do, okay? Because that's where people get hurt, it's where things go wrong. See, it's what you're trying to avoid. So making threats, again, it's seen as a challenge, and you don't know who you're dealing with. You don't know what that person's thinking. You don't know who they know, what they know. They very may well, and I've seen lots of videos, and I've been in many situations where this has been done, and it's happened, and the people rise up to the challenge. And they will. Some people will. So, making threats? No. Absolutely not. Do it if you want. I highly advise against it. Okay, so a big thing too with someone who's highly emotional, they're angry, they're frustrated, is you really want to keep your distance. Okay, and it depends too, okay? So your distance and positioning, I like to try and move on a 45-degree angle, not front on with a person. Because front on, you're in, that position, 45, it just sort of takes that away, it diffuses things a bit. And you really, again, you might want to, depending on who you're dealing with, have barriers between you. I like to give people space. So like in rooms and that, like I'm going to assume, because you couldn't see it in the video, but he's in his hotel room and the officer might well have been in the doorway. Now, that we don't know though. But in a situation like that, I'd pull out into the corridor. That way it at least gives room if someone comes barging out from, and even to the side a bit, not front onto that door. It gives someone room to move if they want to. Don't crowd people either. And what I really want to touch on also is anger, frustration, emotions. When you're dealing with conflict resolution, conflict management, and someone's angry. People get this idea like you're not allowed to be angry. Look, anger is a normal emotion, and it's perfectly okay to feel angry. So in this situation, what it sounds like is that this guy thought he was leaving that day, or he was meant to be left already, and apparently it wasn't until 11:59 that night that he was allowed to leave. So it means he still had hours to go. So essentially what he's angry about is he feels he's been kept in, detained when he's not meant to be. Which again, look, that's quite normal. I would be pretty frustrated about that. And what that all comes down to is lack of communication or miscommunication. And a big thing with conflict resolution and management really does come down to communication. Okay, so there's been a lack of communication there. But back on point, I want to point out, anger is very normal, or can be very normal, frustration. And it helps to empathise with the person. So, it's the way you approach it. Say, okay, what's going on? So you want to start asking the person, getting their point of view. So, how can I help you? Okay, what is going on? What I can, even pointing out like the immediacy of the situation and saying, I can see you're angry. Okay, so you're not challenging the person. You're just acknowledging something that's there. I can see you're frustrated. Please, tell me what's going on. What is it that is upsetting you? And what can I do to help? Because what you're trying to do here is you're trying to find ways to help and understand the person and the issue. Because it's once you begin to understand the issue that you know what's making him angry. So then you can start to look at a resolution. You can manage this conflict and look at a resolution to resolve it, which is the big thing you want. You're looking to resolve this. I just want to point out too, though, there is a big difference between anger and emotion and behaviour. Very big difference. So being angry, you might, the raised voice, puffing out, getting red, sweaty. a lot of people, they get angry, they swear, they rant, they rave. That's fine. You know, if they're blowing off steam, that's fine. Okay, now if they start making personal insults to you, harden up. You need a bit of a thick skin. Sometimes I say, oh, well, all you fucking people. Yeah, and I used to get that a lot working clubs and that. And sometimes you just got to let things roll off. Have a bit of a thick skin. Don't take it personally. They're angry. They're frustrated. They'll lash out, especially like if you've got uniforms and that. They'll lash out at an organisation, but directed at you personally. And look, they don't know you. They don't know. You don't know them. So just don't take that personally. But that is very different to behaviour. Now, it sounds like I said the guy was trashing the room, punching walls and that. Obviously, the behaviour is unacceptable. But that being said, you pick your battles too. So just rushing in, like walls and shit, they could be fixed. They could be plastered over, repainted. It's not worth getting into a punch on over a wall. But you might even say, listen, I really want to help you. I can see that you're angry, but at the moment this behaviour is not helping. I can't understand you, and I cannot help you while you're punching walls. Okay, so what I need you to do, please, is talk to me. Okay, so again, here, we revert back. I'm not telling you to calm down. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm asking you, please, talk to me. And I'm saying to you, the behaviour while you're doing this, well, I can't help you. I can't understand you. And essentially what people want is to be heard, validated, respected, and understood. So this is what you're working towards with these questionings and that. Okay, so that out of the way. So what we're looking at is with conflict management. So once you get to this point is active listening. So which isn't just hearing. It's a big difference. You are actually listening. And not listening, thinking, or waiting for your turn to speak, or thinking, well, what will I say next? Oh, well, he said this, I'm going to say this. Just zip. Just shut it. Listen. Hear what they're saying. Every now and again, you might want to just say things like, some ahas or mm-hms. Nod your head. Showing that you're actively engaging and listening. Occasionally repeat back to them what they've said so that they can see and hear and know that you are listening. 'Cause active listening is a big part, and this is where you're going to find out what's actually upsetting the person, and where you're going to be able to say, okay, and after that, there's points where you're going to reflect back to the person, paraphrasing that. So what I hear you're saying is this. Okay, so what I think you mean is this what you're saying? Am I getting this correct? Now, a lot of the time, people will sit there then and say, oh, well, I said that. That's what I fucking said, wasn't it? Yes, it is. I'm just making sure I've understood correctly so that I don't get anything wrong. See how we're doing that there? You're just redirecting everything. That's how we're sort of trying to manage this conflict. Sorry, I've made some little notes. Yeah, sorry, I made some little notes. I didn't go too much off tangents, but asking open-ended, appropriate questions too. So again, probing what's wrong, what's happening, and everything else. So other things you're looking to do is, say, negotiate and compromise. Okay, so not everything, you don't walk in either with this thing like, I am the authority, I am going to tell you what to do, you will do what you're told. Okay, that's the kind of thing, again, you're looking for win-win situations here. I'm going to need this, but I need you to do this. I'd love to help you, but please, are you able to do this for me? Okay, so look, if you're able to do this, I'm going to be able to do that. You're looking, you're negotiating, you're compromising, and you're looking. So it also helps to offer people choices. If you come in and you tell people, this is what you're going to do, this is how it's going to be, that's going to get people's backs up. Again, that's very confrontational. So if you can, offering people choices is a great way. So listen, well, how about if I did this, would you be happy to do this? And if you did this, look, I'd be happy to do this. Because what we're looking, again, like I said, is a win-win situation. Another big thing to be very mindful of is your body language. Okay, so like if you're too close to someone, it's going to be seen as threatening. Ideally, and it depends on the situation and that as well, but you don't want to be too far back. You don't want to be, crossing arms and, rolling eyes, because that, again, that just shows the person you're not listening, you don't care, you're not there to manage the conflict or resolve the conflict or to help them. They're just going to feel unheard and that you don't care. And really, your body language is showing that you don't care. And if you don't care, why are you there? You shouldn't be there, because you're not there to resolve this conflict, which again is what we're looking to do. We're looking to resolve this conflict and come to a resolution so that we don't have to get physical, we don't have to do things. So yeah, even hands on hips, pacing and that is absolutely no good. Because again, it's telling the person that you're not interested. So if I could tell you like some personal stories, I mean, one where I dealt with a very big, very big, angry guy. And I don't suggest everyone doing this all the time, because there's all kinds of different techniques you can take, and they're very personalised and get played on the situation too. But this was a big, angry guy, and big history of aggression and violence. And it looked like it was going to kick off. And in the end, I sat down at a table, and I'd sat down. It was like a wooden table, you get at parks with the benches on the sides. And I'd sat down on the bench thing with the table between us. Now, the reason I did that, again, talking about spatial awareness, distance and that, was the table was a barrier. So I sort of walked around, sat down, used the table as a barrier. So look, if he wanted to hit me, he's got to come around, and that gives me a chance to stand up, or he's going to have to lean over. And in the end I said, look, I can see you're upset, I can see you're frustrated, but please, take a seat. He said, oh, so I let him rant for another 2-3 minutes. I said, okay, that's fine, but I can't understand a word you're saying. So now, I want to help you, but please, take a seat. Yeah, I'm showing you the respect to give you this time to understand. Can you please show me some respect and just, take a seat. We'll talk about this, and I'll see what I can do to help you, because, I want to help you. And it ended up, he actually sat down. It worked out very well. I did a similar thing for different reasons. Which for him, I sat down because, well, my height, my size and that to me, with this big guy, angry guy, someone confronting him at my height and size is going to be seen as a challenge. So someone else may have done something completely different and got a good result as well. But I figured I sat down for him because I could see it would be seen as a challenge. It was more likely to lead to a fist fight because of me being seen as a threat coming up. So him perceiving me as a threat to him, even though I'm sort of seeing him in this emotional state going, man, this is a threat to all of us. So you can see how the perceptions as well. At the end of the day, it's kind of funny because he was upset over what he was upset about, and I was no threat to him. And once his issue was resolved and we come to an understanding, he actually wasn't a threat to anyone either. He didn't really want to hurt anyone. So it just goes to show how perceptions and stuff can play a big thing in it all too. And another time, it was an older lady. And in this particular situation, I wasn't actually directly initially involved, but there was like 3-4 people, and it was going nowhere. And the management of this conflict was not going too well. So, and one thing I'll say, in a situation where there's more than one person, one person speaks and everyone else just needs to be quiet, because too many voices, it's just too overstimulating. And in many situations I've been in where there's multiple people, if I'm not the one dealing with managing the conflict and looking to resolve it, if they turn to me and go, speak to me, I go, look, please speak to that person. That's it. Or just go, speak to them. Because you don't want to get them multiply splitting things, splitting people, more things happening, one talker. But in this case, there was multiple people talking that it wasn't working too well. So maybe and again, this is situational depending on your personality and everything. But I just barged through everyone, walked right through them, grabbed a chair, pushed it over, looked at this old lady and said, do you mind if I take a seat? Listen, I'm going to take a seat. I just did leg day yesterday. My legs are killing me. Sat down. And I said, please, tell me what's wrong. And she ranted and raved for a while, and it was basically the same thing, except I didn't have a barrier between us this time. I said, look, please take a seat. We'll have a chat. And ended up, she did take a seat. We started chatting, and any time someone else went to speak, I sort of just go, no, I got this, thank you. To bring everything back to one person. And, it turned out, because she had to stay in her room, that she was just frustrated there was nothing to do. She's bored. Couldn't get her phone to work. So, we just rang her and said, someone, please ring up downstairs. Can we make sure we get the phone connected to work? He said, we called up her son on mobile phone and got to talk to her son. It's like, okay, so you're bored. What do you like to do? Okay, so the thing is, we can't let you out of this room. But what do you like to do? What is it that would keep you entertained or make you happy? She said, oh, well, the food's rubbish and I like to do crosswords and I don't have even a paper to read. No worries. Okay, so if you go back into your room, this and that, give me 10 minutes, we'll see what we can do. We'll sort this out. I'll see what I can find for you. So she goes back in her room, and this is a big thing with conflict management too. If you promise something or do something, uphold your end of the bargain. Because that's what builds trust in that too. So down I went, bought her some food that, she said she liked, bought her a paper crossword book, it comes to like, 10, 15 bucks, whatever. So knock, knock, there you go. And after that, building that rapport with someone too, it's much easier anywhere down the line to work with someone. And, the conflicts become much easier to manage with people if you're dealing with them on multiple occasions once you've built rapport as well, which is a big, big thing. But ultimately, I think the big take home of all of this is if you are dealing with conflict and you're trying to manage it, is to remember some very important things. So not to be provocative, no swearing, no threatening, and really what you need to do is remember things like you match, or people match you. So if they're yelling and screaming, you've got to be very careful too that you don't raise your voice. So they say, all right, but I just need you to listen to me, please. Can you just... No, because if you raise your voice, they're going to raise theirs, and it becomes a battle to be heard. So another big thing is just remember, and it can be hard sometimes, but step back, just hold that breath for a couple of seconds, step back, okay, listen, okay, so please, and lower your voice. Try to get them to match you. So, so speaking low, slow. So you don't want to. You don't want to be talking like this. Say, listen, look what I need, and showing anxiety in that. So you want to speak very low like this, very calm and very slow. Because remember, in tense situations too, you start getting auditory and visual tunneling in that. So it's harder for people to hear and understand, and they're taking in much less information here with everything that's going on in their head, and as their emotional state rises, everything like understanding and hearing and everything goes down, which is why, again, you want to talk low, slow, bring them to your level. Again, we'll just quickly go over threats. No, don't, because it just ups the ante. Try keep in mind that if people are going to be angry, just point it out, empathise with it. Someone says, oh, well, I'm angry because of this. Like, listen, I understand. I understand what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. I see what you mean. And sometimes it even helps to say, look, I agree with what you're saying. And I can see, I hear that you're angry, and I can see why you would be frustrated. And that's understandable, and that's okay. Just validate that anger. Because, again, and it doesn't matter whether you agree with it or not, but the fact is, if you validate it, it's just goes, oh, well, it's all right to be angry. Yes, it's all right to be angry. But it's not going to solve anything. And that's why we need, I need to know what's upsetting you and what it is you want and need. So, see how that's just bringing everything down to resolve the conflict. And, again, don't become authoritative. Just remember there's a lot of negotiation, compromise that goes on. So you're trying to build trust with the person and rapport. And you're trying to build trust and rapport very quickly. So you know, obviously give and take helps with doing that. And again, like if you're negotiating and you do something like, okay, well, you know, I can do this. And make sure you keep your word. Anyway, look, I might wrap that up for tonight. I hope you found this useful, and you know, I hope there's been some tips that you've found helpful. As always, leave comments. You know, share this video around if you'd like. Leave comments. I'm, you know, more than happy to answer any questions, conversations. Let me know your thoughts about what you think as well. So until next time, you know, please look after yourselves, look after each other, stay safe. And thank you for tuning in and watching. I'll catch you next time. Thank you.